Okay, great, thank you. Okay, so I'm now calling the Monday, February 19th, Hollis Brookline Cooperative School Board meeting to order at 5:33 p.m. Welcome, everyone. Krista Whalen will be participating electronically. I need you to answer the following questions. Krista, are you somewhere where you can hear the proceedings, obviously?
Yes, I can.
And can you state that your attendance in person is not reasonably practical, given your circumstances? And that you are alone?
I am alone.
Great, thank you. So at this point, for the record, all those present, we will be doing all of our votes by roll call.
Sorry, guys.
Ooh, Krista, no. No worries, Krista. All right, so we need to do any agenda adjustments, nominations, resignations, correspondence.
I have no agenda adjustments, but I do have a resignation.
Great, thank you.
It says, good afternoon, Tim, Lauren, and Andy. I want to say thank you for the opportunity here at Hollis Brookline High School. I have grown in my career as an administrator, and that is directly because of the support I have been given during the last 2 years. However, at this time, I feel that to continue to grow as an administrator, I need to pursue another path. Therefore, I am resigning my position as Assistant Principal of Student Services effective June 30th, 2024, and that's from Aisha Reaver at the high school.
Aisha is an assistant principal at the high school?
Correct.
In charge of special
Student
ed and
services.
student services, okay. Thank you. Okay, so I need a motion to accept the resignation of Aisha Weaver. This is effective June 30th, right?
Correct.
Effective June 30th.
So moved.
Moved by Beth. And a
Second.
second by Krista. Any comments? Okay, all in favor. We'll start with you, Tom. Roll call.
Tom, aye.
Holly, aye.
Kate, aye. Oh,
Kate, aye. Krista?
Krista, aye.
Cindy, aye. Beth, aye.
6-0, motion carries.
I'll take a picture of her.
You need a picture of her?
Kristen?
Yeah.
Look at head.
A head, we need a head. They did. Okay. Are there any other resignations?
You want this one?
Great, thank you. All right, moving forward, we need to approve some minutes. I'm gonna need a motion to approve the minutes from January 17th, 2024, Hollis Brookline Cooperative School Board meeting with the following amendment. Page 8, line 35, replace Corey's, which has an S on it, with just singular Corey. I need a motion.
So moved.
Moved by Beth. And I need a second.
Second.
Seconded by Kate. And I believe we were all here, so all in favor, roll call vote. Starting with Tom.
I abstain. I couldn't find them.
Oh, you can find the minutes?
Now, the link keeps putting me into board docs, and I'm searching on minutes, and all I can find is agendas.
So on the agenda, when you click on the agenda, it'll say view agenda, and then on that it says view minutes.
It doesn't say view minutes on mine, but,
Okay.
because I'm in the public area, even though I'm logged in. Anyway,
Okay.
I abstain.
So you're abstaining, okay. Holly, aye. Krista?
Krista, aye.
Kate, aye. Cindy, aye. Beth, aye.
And then I need a motion to accept the non-public minutes as presented of January 17th, 2024 for the Hollis Brookline Cooperative School Board.
So moved.
Moved by Beth,
Second.
second by Kate. Any comments? I assume Tom?
Tom abstain.
Tom abstains. Holly, aye.
Krista, aye.
Kate, aye. Cindy, aye. Beth, aye.
So that's, those two votes are 5, 0, and 1. So they both carry. Okay. So moving forward, we're gonna open the floor for public input when I finish my little spiel. This is not intended to be a back and forth discussion. We just take public input and consider it. You might hear it come back in comments later. Once I open the floor will be open for half an hour. If someone will move on with business, if no one is here, or if public input is finished. And then if people come in during that half an hour, we will accept input when at our convenience. So I'm going to open the floor at 5:38 p.m. And someone help me remember to close the floor at 6:08 PM. Okay. All right. I'm opening the floor, sorry, and I do not see any public. So we'll move on. Krista was going to be our process observer, but since she's not here tonight, it might be easier to have someone in person. Is there a volunteer who would like to be our process observer? Anyone? Cindy, thank you. You dodged a bullet, lady. You can come back next month and be our process observer, okay, Krista?
Okay, I can't, that's why I am here. Get out of it.
Okay. All right, moving on to the principal and athletic reports. So we will move to, the principals. I'm gonna pull up my agenda, it's gonna take a minute. Guys, you start. Who wants to go first?
I'll start tonight.
Thank you.
I just want to highlight a couple items here. We have our course registration process underway. The portal has been open for current students currently in grades 8 through 11. That will close up this coming Friday, the 23rd, and we'll continue along with our master schedule build into the spring. I did want to highlight two field trip requests. Well, we have the performing arts field trip request, which is a new trip, which I will be asking the board for a vote on tonight. And then we have a number of robotics trips, potential trips based on their performance and based on interest, but we did want to get those before. Those are all trips that have taken place in the past. So I don't believe they require a board vote, but I did want to put those out in front.
I feel like in the outline, we're focusing on approving the Portsmouth,
Yep.
the performing arts trip, but because the robotics trips have been approved in the past, it's our practice to let them go without our approval, so.
And one other element here, I did just want to point out, we are one day into Spirit Week. We had a riveting unified versus staff basketball game today, and the staff lost by less than 10, which was, I think, a new
Good
record.
staff.
Yeah, so it was a good game. It was a lot of fun.
Good job.
Really good time. So happy to answer any questions. If anyone has any questions about the trip or any part of the report.
Okay, any comments on the report? We'll talk about the trip, I think, when we do deliberations on that. So, any comments? Okay. Good luck with course registration, that's always fun.
Yep.
And then what about, Krista, can you put yourself on mute for a second? I hear like a lot of background. Thank you. Okay, all right, and then how about athletic report?
Sure. Can we take it? Yeah. So we are approaching the tournament season. We had hosted this past weekend the Division II wrestling meet. We were defending champs, actually back-to-back defending champs. We did not bring home the state championship, but we did have 4 individual state champions this past weekend. We had our boys and girls swim meet just a couple weeks back. Cambria and Dylan Jewett took home individual state championships, and Dylan actually broke a state record during the meet as well. We had our girls and boys ski teams compete in the Division II state meet as well, and we had a number of students perform very well at that meet. And our wrestling team as well competed in the Division II state championship, and same thing, another successful year for them. Boys and girls basketball, as well as ice hockey teams, are still finishing up their regular season, and those regular seasons will wrap up with possible playoff games coming up during the vacation week. So good luck to all the teams that are still finishing up their regular seasons. HBMS athletics report. It sounds like the wrestling team won the state championship, the Tri-County State.
Congratulations to them.
Yeah, congratulations to those guys. And the boys basketball team lost a heartbreaker, buzzer beater in the championship game. But nonetheless, a great season for those guys. And the girls basketball team also had a great regular season, finishing at 500 and making it all the way to the quarterfinals. So congrats to all the middle school teams. And it sounds like you're going to be, did you have a Coaches versus Cancer game as well.
We did, yep.
Raised $2,500 for that very worthy cause.
I do notice here that it says a football head coach position is open, but a friend of mine told me that in the National Telegraph, there was an article that we hired a football coach.
So I didn't know the ink was dry. Sounds like it is. That's hot off the press. I knew we had offered. I didn't know the.
Was in the paper,
Yeah.
so.
I had a big basketball game today. I was
You're
I was
busy.
a
You're
very
busy
busy guy
playing.
today.
Did you
Yeah.
play today, Tim?
I did make it out to the
Okay,
court. Yes.
nice. So, well, so that means that the rest of the openings are accurate, but that one is filled.
Yep.
Okay, well, that's good news. We made it to the paper, so. Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah,
I don't think-
absolutely.
Are there any comments or questions on the athletic report? Seeing none, we will move on to our middle school principal, Patrick.
8th grade is gearing up, ready to go in just a short couple months for the DC trip. 175 8th grade students are registered. We are planning to host our veterans before we leave on the 5th to come talk to our students about their military experience and any connection they have with Washington, D.C. We have 16 faculty members attending and 2 nurses. So we are getting ready for that. We are trying to, and I haven't talked to you about this, Tim, sorry, figure out if we can connect with the high school civics class that will be down there the same time as us. So we'll work that out with the high school. And big shout out to Mr. Richard, who really takes on the lead for this DC trip. So I just want to recognize him. He does a really nice job with it. And today is the roommate finalization process, and your reaction couldn't be any more accurate right there. Not always an easy process, but he does a nice job because he knows the students so well. We are looking for approval tonight for a very amazing donation from a local family of $9,000 to support our scholarships for our students. Congratulations to Rose Kelly for winning the DAR essay, the local DAR essay. Her essay will go forward to the state level. Rose actually also represented New Hampshire last year for going down to Maryland for the National History Day competition. So I just wanted to give Rose a big shout out for all of her social studies, history involvement, and her representing HBMS in such a positive way. Our 8th grade Sea Perch, our 8th graders went to UNH last week, and the week before they built their Sea Perch. It was a day-and-a-half build. It actually worked out really nice having the half day because most students seem to finish in a first day, and then a lot of students just need about a half a day to finish their build. But this year it seemed to go really well, and actually Portsmouth Naval Shipyard was trying to use our schedule to help build other schedules for other schools because it went so smooth this year. Again, thank you, Dr. Katrina Hall and Mr. Jake Richard for the ones facilitating this very enriching experience. And also shout out to our Assistant Superintendent, Ms. Bergskog, because she came in for the full day and a half and helped our students with their robots. HBMS Robotics, although they didn't finish in a top place, they have had a successful season, and they will continue working on their robots, but they unfortunately didn't qualify this year for the state meet, but have had a great year overall thanks to Mrs. Boudreau and Mr. Pooler. I think that's all I have. I like to throw in as many pictures as I can, as Mr. Grisone knows, but this one is really just the Sea Perch to give you a little snapshot of kind of a start to finish. The girls in the top right are starting with their original kits, and then there are some different pictures in there to show you the experiences that they have when they go to UNH, and the big one being the pool with all of the rovers in the water.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So first of all, congratulations to Rose Kelly. That's great accomplishments on her part. And we will be deliberating about that donation, but obviously that's very generous and will be so helpful to so many students, and so glad to see that we're headed to DC. That's a great thing. Any other comments on the principal's report? So happy that they're going back to UNH and the STEM project, that whole project. And I know that the experience of building the robots is really important, but a friend of mine's daughter was very impressed with lunch.
That's a
Eliminate
common,
lunch is
that's a
just-
common
it's
feedback.
just-
I remember
It's
actually
just
Max saying
eliminate
something,
lunch is
yep.
very important, it's just a very cool part of the experience, so. Okay. So if that's all for the reports, we'll move on to deliberations based on the reports. Hi, Rob. Rob is
Sorry for being late.
5:46. We are doing roll call votes because Krista is on the phone.
Got it.
Okay, so I'm gonna put the motion on the floor and then we can talk about the performing arts. Hold on, let me just pull it up.
Did you do an agenda adjustment to have it under deliberations, because it's not there?
I did not actually, they're asking for us to vote on it, so, is that a problem?
No, I'm just wondering,
Should we put it under?
well, what are we gonna do?
We have in the past
Are we-
voted
are we
during
gonna do
principal's reports.
all of them, all 5?
So I just said earlier that we've already approved the robotics trips, like in the past, we've approved these types of trips for robotics, so it's under the impression that we have that we don't have to approve them each.
Okay, but there was no opportunity for discussion on them.
Right, so would you like to discuss them now? Because we're still in the discussion.
I
so
have
we
some
can-
questions about the
Robotics trips?
trips in general.
Sure, so what I was going to do was put the performing arts trip on the floor, based on our principal's report, to deliberate and talk about and discuss and give them a vote if we could. And then, if you want to, but if you'd like to go back, I wasn't gonna do the robotics trips, we weren't gonna vote on them, but if you'd like to discuss them, how about we do that now?
Okay, the questions that I have about them is, I just want to understand, and this is all of them, because I was trying to read through them and gather, which ones are overnights, which ones are day trips, and which ones are out of school, and which ones are not out of school?
So, the first one here, which is the trip to Reading High School.
When you said first one, I don't...
Sorry.
Where's it to, what, is this robotics or is this performing arts?
Why don't we focus on the robotics trips
Okay,
first?
you
Yeah.
said- I
So
thought-
go ahead and tell us about the robotics trips, Tim,
All right.
the first one.
Yep, so I'm referencing the trip to Reading Memorial High School. This is, students will not be missing school. This is Friday through Sunday, weekend of the 15th through the 17th.
Of March, right?
Yep, sorry. And.
Is it overnight?
Yeah, it's the weekend.
Yep.
I know, but I'm not sure if, I can't tell if they're making day trips to it or if they're staying there.
That one, they'll be returning home.
So it's
The
day trips?
agenda, the itinerary is on the second page.
Which one is that in, from, by file name?
The first unique aspect is the proposed destination, Reading Memorial High School, Reading, Mass.
Sign that again.
And that will be a leave and return on a daily basis over the course of those 3 days, Friday the 15th through Sunday the 17th of March.
So being that it's not even overnight, does it even need to come before us?
Yeah, I'm wondering if,
Because it's on the
it
weekend.
sounds almost like an athletic event. I mean, we don't look at those.
I mean, I think it's just being overly prepared, right?
We have
And
typically
transparent.
brought them forward to make you aware of what's going on, because our students will be traveling out of state.
Last year I had brought the same ones
Yep.
forward, said these were trips that had happened in the past. There was not a vote. I thought
Right.
staying in line with what I had done, just
Yeah.
as a reminder,
Yeah,
it made
No,
sense.
it's-
I didn't realize on the last ones that they were just day trips without school
Yeah.
being missed.
No, I don't think we need to vote on them, Tim. I think that's what the process that we've been going through, but I'm not even sure if we need to see this particular one.
Yep,
because
the next
they're
one-
not overnight, but I do understand it's better to be,
I'm just having difficulty finding the one he's
I
talking about.
think it's better that we know about it than not know about it.
Yeah, we're gonna have kids
Right,
out of
right.
state.
They're gonna be out of state, exactly, and they're gonna be out of state every day. So the Reading trip one is,
I found it, it wasn't the
It's
first one in my list.
is not overnight.
Sorry, yeah. Riviere, in Riviere, Mass. is a similar trip. It'd be the following weekend, and those would be to and from, that's a Friday through Sunday as well.
And that's no class time is missed, and it's just day trips,
Yep.
okay?
And then the following one, this one's to Springfield, Mass. This one is a hotel stay. That's Wednesday, and there is anticipated school days missed.
Does that require qualifying, or are they automatically eligible to go to that?
This isn't a guaranteed one, neither is the following.
I know the last one wasn't, but this one, this
Th-
one,
this
no, when I
is-
said the last one, Houston is not.
That's correct, and this one might,
This one they have to
is
qualify
a
for as well?
possibility as well.
Okay? And so this one's overnight.
Yep.
And they do miss 2 days of school.
3, don't they, is Wednesday?
Wednesday, 4 PM, they would depart,
Okay.
so they would not miss school on
Okay.
Wednesday, but they would miss Thursday and Friday.
Thursday. Okay. And the last one is to Houston.
And the last one's Houston. I think this is a long shot that this would occur this year,
Okay,
but we wanted to get it before you.
sure.
um,
And that would be a 4 days of school that they would miss, right?
Looks like Tuesday they would be departing. Yep, all day. Yep, so 4 days.
And the team funds these, plus the students contribute if they go like Houston or
Yep.
Springfield.
Yeah, regarding the funding, when you said team funds, it's not, the reason I'm asking about this is there were people who called attention to the fact that we have stuff in the budget, an increase in budget for certain trips, and it was my contention to the people who brought it up, that they have to be in the budget because the funds get dispersed, but that they're not actually funded by taxpayer dollars. Is that an accurate statement?
You're talking DC
Uh,
or in general?
DC and in general.
I don't think it's always accurate because the DC that we're looking to put in this year is for transportation, which is a cost to the taxpayer. Now, it may be fundraised, it may be offset, but at the same time, the line item this year was to reduce the cost for students.
So, and is that a new
Yes.
item?
And we've heard about it in here.
I wasn't sure how how it actually settled down, especially in light of the fact that we're seeing community contributions and things as well.
Right.
So, but how about, but the robotic stuff doesn't come out of that?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So, moving on, the performing arts trip, Tim would like an approval on this and a vote on this. And given the fact that it's the end of April, it would be prudent for us to vote for it now because we won't meet again in March.
Okay, so you want to discuss it under the context of deliberation?
I would like to discuss it, but I'd like to actually deliberate under the principal's report, which is how we have it in the outline. So we're going to deliberate on it. We're going to move to deliberations in a few minutes for other things as well, but I'd like to do this now. So,
Okay.
So I need a motion to approve the request for the Performing Arts Students 4-day tour through the University of New Hampshire, Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and Boston, Mass. Scheduled for Thursday, April 18th, 2024 through Sunday, April 21st, 2024.
So moved.
Moved by Kate,
Second.
second by Cindy. So now is the time for discussion for any questions on this.
I get the impression from the way that it's written that they are all day trips and not overnight trips. Is that correct?
No, this is overnight.
Because it says they only miss period 5 and 7 on Thursday and Friday. And in the.
So Thursday, they would be leaving, missing periods 5 and 7 on Thursday only, and then they would miss all day Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, it says periods 5 and 7 only after Thursday, and then they miss all day Friday.
Okay. And where one of the premises, it seemed to be, was to, number one, contain cost, and number two, to make it more accessible, where these places are pretty much all within an hour of here. I'm just wondering why it's being done as an overnight trip.
I think the idea was to offer something comparable to what students who went on the New York City trip last year. I know there was concerns that the trip itself was a little pricey. We had a long discussion last year about that, so I think this was the response to offer something comparable yet more affordable.
So, I actually was gonna say that I thought, well, it looks like it has an itinerary here. It looks like some of the recitals and things that they're doing are in the evening, like the chamber ensembles at 7 p.m. They're, looking at performances in the evening, so I assumed that's why they were gonna be spending overnight. I actually thought it was really great, given the comments we made last year about price, to find something that was more in keeping with keeping costs down and doing something local. And really thought it was interesting that the thought process of like going to our, flagship university and seeing what their performing arts people do, and kind of touring the kids around to see what's like performing arts related in their own local, hour and a half radius. I thought it was great, so I'm all for it. Looks good to me. Anybody else? Any other comments?
Which students is it open to? Do you have to be in one of the classes?
In the performing arts,
You have to be in one of the classes?
Yeah, and if there were open seats, I haven't discussed if we would open it beyond there, but my understanding it was students in our performing arts department.
Not just honors.
Yeah.
Yeah, not just honors.
And that was the other
Yep.
point that he
Yeah, a
made,
little
is
bit
that
more inclusive.
trying to be
Okay.
broader
Yep.
and make
Great.
sure that it includes more of the performing arts. So,
I like that.
yeah. So, anything else, Tom?
Oh, thank you.
Hey, Beth, I'm gonna need you to, are you okay over there? Okay, never mind, you can just yell from far, okay? So, ready for the vote? I need a roll call vote. Krista, you can come off mute. All those in favor, Tom?
Tom, I.
Holly, aye. Krista?
Krista, I.
Kate, I.
Rob, aye.
Cindy, I.
Beth from across the room, aye, so that's 7-0. Okay, and then we also need to look at we do need to do a deliberative item related to the middle school principal's report. So I need a motion to accept, as you know, our policy KCD states in part that the principal may accept monetary gifts of $1,000 or less for the school district. The superintendent may accept monetary gifts of more than $1,000 and less than $5,000, but if anything's greater than $5,000, it's up to the board to accept that gift. So I need a motion to accept with the utmost gratitude the donation of $9,000 made by a community family in support of the Washington DC Scholarships Program.
So moved.
Moved by Kate, and I need a second.
Second.
Second by Cindy. Are there any questions on this? Yes, Tom?
Are there any restrictions on what can be funded by this money within the scope of the DC trip? Does it have to, for instance, can it be used in general to offset the cost, or is it strictly to fund individuals who apply for it?
In the 2 years I've done it, it's just been for students who are in need of financial assistance.
And if it's not all expended, what happens with the additional?
I believe it gets carried over to the
Rolls
following
over.
year to apply to next year's group.
And do you know if we have any existing balance for that?
Based off of where we're at right now, it's going to be pretty close to break even.
What we have plus this will be break even, or?
Yes.
Okay. What's the estimated total cost per student?
For the DC trip, $1,066.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so, any other questions? Okay, so all in favor, roll call, Tom?
Tom, I.
Holly, aye. Krista?
Krista, I.
Kate, I.
Rob, aye.
Cindy, I.
Beth, I.
Great, thank you. Okay, so in your packet tonight, you also have the co-op calendar. moving forward with our agenda. I don't believe we are, this is just a information only item, right? Is there anything, are there any questions on the calendar? Did you guys, is graduation moving up a little bit? Moving earlier, or is it just the way it falls?
Just the way it falls.
Any other questions? Yes, Tom?
I'm just getting a chance to look at it now for the first time, but does this reflect any of the changes executed by the tentative agreement?
It reflects the changes in the tentative agreement. It also reflects 6 early release days instead of 4, so that we can best prepare for our NEASC visit next year.
Okay. Will this have to change if there is a, if the tentative agreement does not get approved?
I don't think it has to change.
Okay.
I think there's probably some level of desire on both sides to have that at that initial day.
Okay.
It's the flex day that's really the difference.
Yep.
It's that day in red, yeah. Okay, any other questions or comments on that? Okay. So, moving forward, just discussion, we just need a quick report out from the Co-op Facilities Committee?
Yeah,
Is there-
yeah, I can do a very short one. So we did meet, we didn't meet in January, but we met in February. We are kind of moving towards our alternative options for energy and things like that for both the middle school and the high school. I guess as we go forward, I did indicate that the board at some point will take an action to extend the charter to standing committee and maybe some other details that the board wants to convey. Also updated the committee as to that we delivered the recommendation to this board and so forth. I think we're going to really get deeper into the work in April. I don't believe we're going to meet in March. Yeah, we said we would wait until April, so we're going to convene and once a lot of the annual meeting stuff is behind us. So that's kind of where we're at. I think we actually ended a little early that day.
Okay.
So
So I think we'll probably put it on the agenda for the April meeting to,
yeah.
Create the standing committee after
Yep.
we reorg and all of that, so that'll be good. Great, thank you so much. And then a report out from the BudCom rep, I mean, we were kind of going into a joint meeting, so.
Right, the majority of the last meeting was spent reviewing the professional staff contract tentative agreement. And it was an extended conversation, but the feedback I got was very positive about the value of the conversation without casting any commitment about how people
Right,
review it.
sure.
But I'm fairly confident that there's a reasonable understanding of what the agreement contains.
Thank you, Tom. Okay. And then moving on to deliberations. I'm going to put policy EBB, the school safety program, on the floor for third read and adopt. So I need a motion to accept the third reading and adopt policy EBB, school safety program.
So moved.
Moved by Kate, and I need a second
Second.
by Cindy. So I'll let Gina reflect what's happened to this policy, if anything.
This is exactly as we saw it for second reading, so we felt comfortable moving it forward for third and adopt.
Are there any questions on that one? Tom?
Are we doing everything right now, or will you have to introduce any new formalized actions as a result of implementation of this policy?
So we're required to implement some changes that have already been implemented as required by law. This policy just sort of confirms what the law requires us to do.
So
So
we
we've
have-
already done it.
We have all the formalized training
Correct.
occurring already?
Yep,
Great, thank you.
yep.
Okay, so this is for third and adopt. All those in favor, Tom, roll call.
Tom, aye.
Holly, aye. Krista?
Krista, I.
Kate, aye.
Rob, aye.
Cindy, aye.
Beth, aye.
Beth says aye, so that motion carries 7-0. Okay, and then you have your first read, I have to open it, sorry, I'm getting there. Oh, is it 6:08? Oh, and also public input for the co-op school board meeting is now, there's no, people have walked in, is there anyone here for public input for the co-op school board meeting? No, okay, so I'm now closing the floor for public input, thank you. Okay, moving forward to policy GCQC, so I feel like it's hard to say, but I need a motion to accept the first reading of policy GCQC, resignation of staff member, as presented.
So moved.
Moved by Kate,
Second.
second by Cindy, okay. So, at this point, so this is a policy that we are taking a look at, resignation of staff member. We are hoping to have it included in the CBA for our staff to read, and also it will be attached to their annual contracts, correct? We'd like to get this passed soon. So what we did is we took out a bit of we took out the first sentence because this relates to resignations, and our staff members are given their contracts in April of the current year that they're working, and that contract becomes effective July 1st. So it felt that the first sentence was kind of an unfair situation, that if they sign the contract, that we wouldn't accept a resignation before July 1st. And that's really the only time that teachers have an opportunity to apply for other districts, look elsewhere, because that's when openings appear. So we wanted to be fair to them on that, but we did like the language of unless and until a suitable and fully qualified replacement is hired. That actually helps us a little bit, because if a staff member does particularly want to leave and break their contract, we would like to be able to have the time to hire somebody in the meantime. So we'd like that language, wanted to keep that language in there, so that's where we put it. But this is first read, so if anyone has suggestions, we're willing to take them back to the policy committee. Are there any questions or comments?
Looks good.
Okay, so this was just for first read. Hopefully, if it's okay, we'll bring it back for second, wave, third, and adopt in April. So it'll be ready to go, hopefully, before. Okay, all right. So all those in favor, Tom, roll call.
Tom, aye.
Holly, aye.
Krista, I.
Kate, aye.
Rob, aye.
Cindy, aye.
Beth, aye. Okay, so that motion carries 7-0. So I believe at this point, we should go into recess, right?
Correct.
Okay, so I need a motion that the board goes recess until the conclusion of the public hearing on the proposed warrant articles and fiscal year FY25 budget.
Second.
Who was the first motion? You
Oh, I
second?
thought you,
Oh, okay.
so moved. How's
Moved by
that?
I'll second it.
Second by Kate. Okay, and so I need a roll call vote.
Tom, aye.
Holly, aye. Krista?
Krista, I.
Kate, aye.
Rob, aye.
Cindy, aye.
Beth, I.
Okay, so that's 7-0, and we are now in recess at 6:11 PM. Okay, all right. So now we can reconfigure so that the webcam can join us. Krista, if you want to, you might want to just watch this. Will you go into the audience? Yeah, okay, goes good. Are they all done?
Oh, I see.
Krista, can you hear me? Okay, sorry, you're on speaker. So do you want to, hang up and watch this part, because this is a public